Hi there! Welcome to this lesson. We are going to start with the inking at last. It's going to be fun. In this case, I'll use the second brush with 100% opacity and the shape dynamics on. The video is speeded up because I spent a good amount of time on the inking, but I'll explain the concept that you need to know. So don't worry because you'll understand everything. So, first of all, you may use different color schemes for the inking. In my particular case, I've chosen black because it's a striking color and helps me get some contrast with the rest of the colors that I'll add later. You will also have to decide for your inking if the lines will be uniform or if there will be variation depending on the pressure applied to the pen. If you want uniform lines, you can use vector graphics editors like Illustrator. Getting uniform lines in Photoshop is a little more complex. You will have to use the pen tool and work with pixels. So, as you can see, I'm using several tools like the ellipse tool and the brush tool. It's quite simple actually. I'm using black to fill those areas I want to be black. That would be my base for later when I get to add the rest of the colors. And guys, what is the inking process? To draw over the lines of the sketch so that you can get a cleaner result. It's called inking because prior to Photoshop and the rise of the digital drawings, ink was used to do this process. Okay, most of the times it was black, so that's why black is mostly used for the line art. If you want to use a different tone, which is something I'm going to do later on, you only have to use a features of Photoshop that allows you to lock the strokes that you've already made. With that, you can color only the strokes. It's like making a selection of all the pixels painted in the document, and it allows you to change the color depending on what you want. This other tool I just used is Color Rotate View and allows you to rotate the canvas and work more comfortably. One of the advantages of Photoshop CC 2018 is that it comes with a new feature that allows you to slow down the brush. Cool, right? This way, you'll get cleaner and more uniform strokes. Very helpful for those who don't have a steady hand. It's great for those projects created for programs where things must look as sharp as possible. So, this is the sketch phase. And as you can see, we've already done the sketching process, which is, just to put it simply, making a rough drawing that allows us to see what we can add to the character. As you can see in this case, for the basketball, I used the ellipse tool and I adjusted the stroke because I was aware that I wouldn't get a perfectly round shape with the brush. So, this is a way to avoid unnecessary issues. Yeah, so as you can see, I did the same for the reddish glasses. Well, guys, if you have any question, I can answer in the discussion tab of the course. I would also like to tell you that there are different kinds of inking. For example, I'm using this brush, but the end result may vary depending on the tools used. There are brushes that are mainly for inking, and there are others that are not so useful for this, because they might leave some texture behind or might have a low opacity. If you prefer to have a solid black with some variation on the strokes, depending on the pressure applied, the textures are irrelevant. Each person has their own take on the line art. I like clean strokes, but you could experiment with other drawings or sketches. Getting used to using a graphics tablet in Photoshop takes some time, so don't worry. You could also do this manually, as you prefer. There are tools that are useful for that, like black markers or pens. India ink is also useful for inking, but as I said, that's up to you and it depends on how you prefer working. Anyway, this is the inking process for my characters. I already did the inking to the teachers, and they are ready to be colored. In fact, the next lesson will be about the color. As you can see, this requires patience, so be patient. Let me be honest about frustration. Guys, it's quite common to get frustrated during the inking process. Rarely you get what you want at first try, so you probably have to redo them several times. As a positive thing, I'll remind you that there is the undo option, which is Control Z. That's something not available if you do this the traditional way, and what's more, ink is permanent. In this last example, I'll only do the inking for one of the cherries. I'll copy the result and paste it to then reflect it. This way, I'll have both cherries with the same look. After that, I'll do some modifications so that there are differences between the two. In fact, as you can see, one cherry is smiling and the other has the mouth closed. One has the eyelashes pointing upwards and the other has them pointing downwards. But these are just minor differences. Okay, here you have what I just said. Also, I leave some parts without inking, like the pompons or the top part of the broccoli, because I want to apply color to them in a more practical way. And guys, this is the end of this lesson. As always, see you in the next one.